What is going on, guys? Gonna address some of the questions quick styles. And again, keep reaching out to me via Instagram. We'll continue talking from there. I'm just gonna jump into it right away. Do you lose your gains if you stop working out? Was one of the conversations that I was talking to this gentleman about, and we're talking about specifically PE. And the answer, when it comes to PE, 150 million percent yes. And if you also got to think about the other things too that come into play. One of the biggest ones that I think is underrated, which is something that you should always be paying attention to, and that is stress. So high cortisol levels, along with your nutrition, right? You got to make sure your nutrition's on point. And the reason why I say that is that, again, like you guys know, my story when I was doing the competition, and I struggled, right? I struggled at the end of it because I basically gave myself self-induced alopecia, which was not a good thing. I also suffered from the fact that I was just very stressed out, very worried about it. And my diet was basically starvation mode, which is essentially what a diet is. But when it comes to the diet, you need to kind of dig in at the end of a bodybuilding cut. However, I've learned more, and I'm cutting right now, and I'm not suffering any of the consequences from it. No energy. Like, I don't feel bad at all. And one of the main reasons why is that I gave myself more time, right? So the best way to learn about how to do things better is experience. Now, bringing that right back to PE, very stressed out, cortisol on high, hormonally dysfunctional, alopecia, all that, man. Like, it was a recipe for disaster, but I look great on stage, right? Because I got my physique down with essentially a bikini woman's diet. Why do I bring that up? Well, it's very simple. Your penis will be affected by your lifestyle habits, by what you do on the day-to-day basis. And it will impact your penis either positively or negatively. If you are sleep deprived and you get an erection, you know it's going to be lackluster. If you are diabetic, you're going to suffer from poor circulation. If you are on a starvation diet, kind of like I was, you know that circulation is just not the same. You can't really get a pump. Bodybuilders know this, right? And when it comes to your penis, it's an extremity, right? Like it's the same as like your fingers or your toes, and diabetics suffer from that a lot because the circulation sucks because the blood is not really making its way there, right? And one of the things that you will actually find with a lot of these men is that they will suffer from poor erectile quality and or may lose some size just based off of the fact there's not a lot of circulation going to your penis, right? Now, tying it back in, which is basically the conversation that I was having with this gentleman, I'm like, if you don't do PE, it's not that you're going to lose, well, you are going to lose the gains that you made, right? Because you're pretty much going to go back to default mode. It's almost the same as like working out. But I do feel that the difference, or one way that you could kind of counter it, is to make sure that you're, making sure that you're getting erections, strong erections every single day and kind of reaching that point of expansion. But I'm like, hey, you know what? Why not just pump for 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes? It'll offset the negative effects from you just not doing the workouts, right? Like it'll just keep you in maintenance mode so you don't lose anything, which is something that I did to just kind of combat that and to make sure that I don't lose gains anymore. Because I don't want to lose that, man. Like I said before in the podcast, I think I might have lost like about half an inch in girth, maybe more. Like it was really fucking annoying because I worked really hard for 2-3 years prior to even starting the podcast. And my main goal at the time was girth. And it was really, really annoying to just see that I lost some of the gains from just not, keeping up with the maintenance and focusing on cardio and doing all these other things. And that just kind of goes for basically anybody. It's like if you basically live in a high cortisol state, you're stressed out from work, you're stressed out from your wife, whatever the case may be, and at the same time you're not working out, you're getting fatter, you are going to suffer negative consequences, or basically you're going to reap benefits, but they're not going to be good ones, right? Like it's kind of like you're investing into something negative and that's going to affect you in the worst way possible, right? Not just your dick, but your overall health, right? Like you got to understand that. And again, when I talked to Dr. Brandeis and other urologists, they said the same thing. Your penis and your erectile health is almost like a barometer of how well you are performing as a male, right? There are a whole bunch of different factors that could also play into your erectile health. However, one of the things you always got to keep in mind is that your body is a symphony, right? One thing's off in the string quartet, it's going to affect everything else. It's going to affect that sound, right? But when everything's working in harmony, it is beautiful. It is spectacular. And you will be able to enjoy the sex life, the strong erections, the big juicy boners that your girl is probably after. You want to make sure that you are basically operating at your fullest and at your best capacity, right? Because who doesn't want that? So will you lose gains if you stop cold turkey? I think so, yes. I do believe that. Best way to offset it, make sure you get strong erections every single day. And the older you get, yes, you might suffer from not having the same amount of nocturnal erections as you used to in your younger years. You know, like I still get morning wood and I'm very thankful for it. I do certain things as well to ensure that I always kind of stimulate myself to ensure that I can kind of wake up with it, right? Because I just found that when I do a PE workout before bed, mainly girth exercises, mainly pumping, jelking, something of that nature, it always helps to kind of offset or just make sure that I have strong erectile quality going into the night. And for some reason, I just found that I wake up with stronger boners. The other thing that I want to tie into that as well is that doing any type of workout right before bed, I found for myself, because that's the only time that I really have for myself. However, I have experimented with other times, and that's something for another episode. But I found that when I go to sleep, like I've been using my extender, right? When I use the best extender and I go to sleep, or I'm just like about to pass out like an hour before bed. And my wife noticed it, right? She's just like, why is your dick so hard? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but it's just like super hard. And I found that it was more almost like a recovering thing from like the workout itself. Like I did do like a 5-minute pump after being an hour in the extender. And man, I just found that I had the biggest, strongest like erection. Like, I didn't even know why it was so damn big. I'm like, yo, man, like this is next level, right? But I think maybe it was just a recovery kind of thing where it's like super compensating, and bringing more blood in before bed, right? And then obviously when you're asleep, you're healing, and not just healing from the, PE workout, you're just healing overall. Your body's releasing GH, all these good things to help you recover. So I found that, working out right before bed actually led to really awesome erections. So that's something to just kind of keep in mind. And again, if you're looking for maintenance or any way to just basically keep from losing the gains that you made, I would I would suggest that you do some type of workout before bed. Or do a workout right as you wake up. Those two times I found have been crucial. And I found them to be extremely beneficial. And a lot of the guys that I talk to are usually the same way. It's kind of like, hey, you know what? I got that privacy right before bed. So that's the time that I'm going to do it. Obviously, it depends on your schedule. I think the best way to split a workout in, the PE workouts, anyways, as I mentioned before, has always been like an AM PM split, right? Like in the AM, you can do maybe do your girth work, right? And then in the PM, you can do your length work. I do believe that a combination of length and girth is what's going to reap you the biggest benefits. And that's something that we could discuss in another episode. But just basically imagine a balloon. It expands, horizontally and vertically, right? Your penis is the same way. It doesn't just like, oh, length has been worked, so we're just going to slowly go up. It's kind of like, it's going to expand like this, right? So I think it's always good to combine the two. And I think that you'll always make more gains, right? And I found that for myself, like, even back in the day when I really didn't know what I was doing, when I was just using like the ADS and, doing some manual extending and doing the jelking and all that good stuff, I always found that it was a combination of different things, right? Like I just didn't feel comfortable just leaving my penis, just hanging there after a hanging workout and not doing something that was going to draw blood in, right? I just found that it's always better for circulation. So I find that, if you combine these two things, it's going to help you get the most gains possible. And as we mentioned before, we're looking to maintain the gains that you have made. And the best way to always make sure that you don't lose the gains that you made is always keep striving for more. Stay hungry, get after it, and get after your workout. Always find some type of progressive overload, right? And sometimes your workouts will evolve, like in the same way that my workouts in the gym have evolved. I don't really go after heavy ass weight anymore. I'm not in my 20s. I don't really give a shit about my deadlift. I don't care about my bench press, and I don't care about how much I can squat. However, one thing that I just recently discovered is the overhead shoulder press, and I love it, right? Like I really enjoy it. My joints feel fresh, and I find that, it's a great like full body workout, right? And it's something that because I haven't explored, I guess the novelty's there too. Whereas like the deadlift, I'm just like, well, it's a recipe. It's just not my thing anymore, right? And obviously when I was younger, I got to like 4 plates and I tweaked my back and I'm like, I don't know if this is really beneficial for me. So again, something to look into and be sure to just give it a shot and just do that to maintain your gains. All right. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.